Volume. Okay, and I am going to make, sorry, I'm gonna make you and Rebecca co-hosts. So if anybody needs to accidentally gets kicked out or anything, Rebecca and Holly will let you guys back in if necessary. And then I'll also have you guys monitor the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free, unmute yourself, interrupt me. This is very casual. I want you to feel like it's a conversation, that I'm not just talking at you. So I am going to share my screen. Okay. And I apologize, my computer is running a little slow today. All right, can everybody see my screen okay? Perfect. So just a quick kind of run through of what we're going to be doing tonight. So we are going to start with the Junior League app and then work through the desktop version, just talking through the homepage, profiles and helpful links, signing up for shifts and trainings, searching for contacts, and then how to check out of in-person events, specifically those larger events like the GMMs. Hopefully we will be also using a similar feature or the same feature for Super Saturday 2, but we'll talk more about that when that gets closer. So, okay, first thing, has everybody been able to get logged into Member Essentials? So you should have received, I want to say it was around August 7th, an email that looks like this. There would have been a link in it. That link is specific for your login, but it would have been an invitation to join the league. If you registered after August 7th, you would not have received this email. It would have been, the application would have been in Member Essentials. Right? So I'm assuming silence means that everybody's good. All right. So the Member Essential app, you can either search Junior League or Member Essentials. It will look like this. And then you will log in with either the email or phone number that you put on your application. You might need to request I know when I logged in, I had to request my username. And then I'll show you how to change that later. But so you might need to request your username. You might need to request your password as well when you're logging in. The homepage of the app looks like this. So there's a variety of different squares here. Just kind of running through them really quickly. You can quick view your requirements. You can, when the time comes closer to the spring, well, I guess closer to the new year, you'll be able to pay your dues. This is where you'll find your calendar, directory, and your profile. So lots of good items. If your screen does not look exactly like this, don't worry. Some of us have, like, leadership has a few more squares than others, and there's even more down here. So if it doesn't look exactly like this, not a problem. The main ones that we're going to focus on today are My League, calendar, directory, and your requirements and your membership card. So those are really the ones that will be pertinent to what you do day to day in the app. When you are clicking on your profile, please make sure that all of your information in here is correct and up to date. This is how members of JLP will contact you. So if you want your primary email address to be something specific, make sure that's marked as your primary contact email address. So some helpful links. Again, we kind of talked about you can pay your dues here. The news tab has different events coming up and things like that. My league will have the org chart, forms and docs, and a very fun birthday calendar. So instead of having to dig through and see, okay, I wanna find all of the birthdays of the other women in my provisional group, you can go to the birthday calendar and kind of go month by month. Okay, who do I know this month that has a birthday going on or whatnot? So, and we'll go into these a little bit more in detail later in the presentation. We have requirements, your member portal, and group share as well. So starting with the calendar on the mobile app, it will look like this. You can view upcoming events and details. You can sign up for events, and then you can also cancel your registration if you need to. There is a 72-hour cancellation policy. So just know, especially for a volunteer shift, if you need to cancel within 72 hours of the event, you'll be required to find a replacement for that volunteer shift. So you can also filter. So you can filter by date, you can filter by type. So you can look at just provisional dates. If nothing is showing up in the calendar for you, you might need to either re-log back in or refresh the app. That has happened to a few people. So this little triangle right up here, if you click on it, a little thing will pop up and it's configure, feedback, refresh, or log out. If you try refresh first, that seems to work for the bulk of people. But if that one doesn't work, then log out and then log back in, and it should show you everything. And then once it's updated, it should automatically sync. You shouldn't have to, log in over and over again. It should fix it for you. So. Any questions so far?
I have a quick question. Sorry. So I noticed that on my calendar, Toastmasters seems to always be closed or full. Is there a trick to this, or is that just something that fills up quickly?
That is a great question. So it might be how they have it set up. I will get you in contact with the Toastmasters lady. The president of Toastmasters is great. And I know that they're definitely a big, like, the more the merrier kind of group. So and that's the other thing, if something's full or it's not showing, available or whatnot, feel free to reach out there is contact information in each event. There is a contact person. So feel free to reach out to that person and be like, hey, I'm really interested in this. I was just wondering if you had space for one more, or maybe they can put you on kind of like a wait list sort of thing. So if somebody drops out, they can let you know, things like that. So.
Well, and I will add with the Toastmasters, I saw that they had scheduled theirs out I think through the next couple months. So they may just not have opened up all of their registrations, or they may not even be using Member Essential to do registrations. Sometimes the different committees and different groups will use it to just put out a calendar reminder for their committee members, but it's not really using it to track registry or registering people. So reach out to whoever's listed if it's ever not really letting you register, because there's maybe a reason.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing with a lot of the committee meetings. They all say that the event is full.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
that could also be that when it transferred over from Digital Cheetah, that those committees haven't gone in and updated their stuff yet. So,
well, and in
you
general, the
guys-
committees you don't register for the committee meetings. So they're
Right,
using they're using this system to give out their calendar reminders for everyone on their individual committees. As a provisional, if you want to attend one of those committee meetings, you just need to reach out to whoever's in charge of the committee or whoever is listed as that contact person. And your advisors should be pushing out a list of upcoming committee meetings and contact people to RSVP to. So the committees are a little bit different on the system.
Cool, thank you.
for the committee meetings, Holly has spent a lot of time reaching out to the committee chairs and kind of setting up predetermined committee meetings that as provisionals, you guys can show up all together and you know exactly when it is, when to show up. It takes a lot of the legwork. Holly's doing all of the legwork for you, so that you don't have to track down, okay, who's this committee chair? I'm interested in this. We kind of have it preset out for you.
I guess I had a question. So I think I'm a little bit, and I don't know if you guys are gonna get into this, but I'm a little bit confused on like the requirements, I guess. Like I hear like the Toastmasters and all these different committees, and I'm looking at like the checklist. Is joining a committee part of one of our requirements?
So it's not required as provisional.
Okay.
The committee meetings, so Toastmasters is a little different because it's an affinity group. So it's more of like an additional bonus club kind of thing. That being said, if you guys get super involved in Toastmasters, let us know. We'll work out a way to make it one of your flex credits because it is something that you're putting yourself out there. You're diving into the league. But the committee meetings count towards a flex credit. So if you go to one committee meeting, you get one flex credit. If you go to 4 committee meetings, it's 4 separate credits. So they can be used towards that overall 12 the overall 12 provisional credits that you need to graduate.
I would just add in though too that the committees, so once you become an active member, you have to be on a committee. So effectively for your provisional year, being a provisional is your committee. So all of the extra classes and things that we put together, that acts as your committee. But once you become an active, you'll have to be on a committee. And so we try to introduce you to all of the various committees that we have your provisional year so that you can pick and choose what you want to do going forward. And so we encourage you, if something sounds interesting, to go to actually attend one of their committee meetings or to reach out to the people that are on those committees to see if it's something you really enjoy doing and if that's a path you'd kind of like to go down. As the year goes on, we'll go over placement more, but that's why we're just mentioning which committees are out there. That way if something piques your interest, then you have the opportunity to get exposed to it more now. But yeah, it falls under the flex credit.
Okay, and so then I guess the other 2 requirements, like the event credits, and then the provisional course, I think those 2 are the ones that I'm still confused on. I was looking through my email and I don't see like a description for what those count towards.
Yeah, so the event credits those are part of your active requirements. So you're required 4 event credits. Voting meetings, like October's meeting, are worth 2 points, which, I mean, you go to October and March and your active event credits are taken care of for the year because they're both voting meetings. But they can be anything. They can be a volunteer shift, a GMM, they can be different trainings in November and April. We do in-homes, which are more similar to our 101 series. So they can be a variety of anything, and you will always have those 4 event credits. Those will be your requirements. Even next year, you'll have 4 event credits. That's as an active member, that's your requirements.
So like
The-
would the
Sorry.
Kendra Scott thing tomorrow count as a credit?
No, so that's considered a social. I've been really careful about on our stuff, I will write in the description if something is a social or if it's for credit. Also, when you click on, so say we click on this fantasy football draft party. I think that's click on that. This will show up. And it will have all of the details that you need for that event. So it will have a start date and time, and end date and time, a little description of what it is. There's sometimes there'll be additional information. So this one's talking about specifically the fantasy football calendar invite to actually sign up for fantasy football. This is the contact information that we're kind of talking about. If you really want to attend something, reach out to that contact person. And then this is the type of event credit. So it will say if it's, so this says this does not qualify as a required event. And that's your way of saying, knowing, okay, this is a social thing. It will say in here for our stuff too, it will say something like this is a required provisional event, or this is a required flex credit event. So it will specifically call that out if it's where it falls into the bucket.
And I don't see that comment under, like, for example, Wednesday, September 27th, the volunteer shift for the Girl Scouts. It doesn't have anything like that mention what kind of credit it is. So I'm assuming anything with like the word volunteer in it would just count towards an event credit.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's strange that doesn't show up. Okay, I will make a note of that so that we can get that fixed. But yes, volunteer shifts count as an event credit. There will be a few items like tonight's event. You saw that there was an active and sustainer one, and then there was a provisional one. So like I said, if we're hosting an event as the provisional committee, and we know, hey, this is going to be open to active members as well, we'll have 2 signups. The best example of that is come November and March when they do in-homes. Sometimes our 101 series overlap with some of those in-homes, or we're using them in both places. If you want to attend, say you've already hit your 2 101 credits for the provisional program. You go to like the makeup one and Rebecca's finance one about knowing your net worth. But then there's a really cool Holly hosts horses with Holly in March. You're like, awesome, I want to go. I still want to get credit for it. You can sign up for in theory, the in-home, the active version of it, and that will go towards your event credit. Whereas if you signed up for the provisional one, it would go towards the provisional credits. Does that make sense? Okay. So, circling back to the calendar. So when you click on it, it will give you all the different details, everything that you need to know. Sometimes it does have like recommended wardrobe for certain events. You might need to wear closed-toed shoes, wear pants, bring gloves, things like that. That will all be kind of noted in there. To register, you just click on the register button, and your name will be added to the list. The list of attendees, in most cases, it should show up. I know that there were a few events where the attendee list wasn't visible. I think Sue has fixed all of those now, but just listen, I like to know who else is going. I'm like, okay, do I recognize anybody on this list? Especially if it's like, ooh, can I volunteer with one of my friends? Like, that's fun. Everybody likes to do that. So I highly recommend reading through this information, especially before you sign up for something, but it'll give you a better idea of what, and this is a lot of information. Sometimes, like, I know our stuff, I write all of our descriptions myself. Sometimes it's a lot shorter. It's just a sentence or two, especially if I'm trying to submit multiple events at once. So moving into the directory. So you can search by name or placement. And then we have, this is an example of the filter. Filter has so many different details in it. So I'm just going to kind of pull it up on my phone so that I can talk it through with you guys a little bit more. But you can sort by placement. You can sort by, if you know a person's specific position. Hey, I remember that girl, she's, you know, provisional chair elect. I can type in provisional chair elect and Holly will pop up. You can search by employer. I've already had to do that once. Or birth date, or like their specific placement committee. So I volunteered, I met somebody, I know she was on special events, but I don't quite remember her name. I wanted to reach out to see if she wants to go get coffee or something. I can go, okay, she was on special events, and then look at the photos and go, oh, okay, that's who it was, sort of thing. So you can find people this way. With the directory, I don't know if I'll get, I apologize if this is a duplicate from something else, but with the directory, any reach out, anything like that, we don't share this information with anybody outside the league. We obviously don't sell or try to yes, we don't sell to our members, things like that. So it is just be careful with the information. Try not to, you know, don't post somebody's phone number online. That's why a lot of this stuff I've kind of like blurred out or deleted out, just so to keep anonymity for everyone. So just a little caveat there. Membership card. Okay, so at your general membership meeting, you are going to open up the app and tap membership card. This will pop up. You will then scan in and scan out. They are working on a new feature as well at GMMs. I don't know if it will be rolled out for October or not, where it's self check-in and self checkout. So self check-in is it's geotagged to the location of the GMM. So within 30 minutes, 15 minutes of the actual GMM, not the social part, but the actual GMM starting, I think it's 15 minutes, you can check in. And then towards the end of the GMM, you'll have to check out before you leave. So just, that's also in the works, but for the most part, this is how, while we're kind of ironing out the kinks, this is how they'll have you check in and out for general membership meetings. And it's super easy. They just scan your phone and then scan your phone and you're out. So any questions on the app? All right. Okay, moving to the desktop version of Member Essentials. So to access the desktop, you're going to jlp.org and you're going to select members in the upper right-hand corner and then use your login name, log in with your username and password. Same thing on the web version that's on the homepage. I'm sorry, blanked. Same thing that's on the homepage as on the app. You can view news, reminders, upcoming league events, recent group activities, your requirements, all of that. I will pull up, at the end of this, I will pull up my actual already logged in so that I can show you where to find a couple things and we can answer a few more of your questions. This is, for the most part, what it will look like when you're logged in. So this will kind of update periodically. You'll have a few quick links and then your events that you've registered for along the side, and then all of our links up at the top. To change your username or password, you will click on profile and then you can change your username or password here. Again, double check, make sure your information's correct. It's exactly what you want. You can view personal information placement obligations. We don't use hours. However, I could see us moving into that where you you can self-report volunteer hours and stuff like that. You can look at everything that you've registered for. So anything that you signed up for in Member Essentials will be in that kind of registration history. You might not have email history, financial or other. I'm not certain if that's an admin thing or if that's in everybody. So again, if these kind of vary a little bit, don't worry, there's nothing wrong. But if your photo is kind of skewed funny, it looks like it's either squished or stretched, just re-upload your photo. It was a weird glitch when things got transitioned over from Digital Cheetah to Member Essentials. So again, this is what the calendar looks like. So this is what I was talking about with those two signups. So it's the same item, Member Essential training, but one is for provisionals and one is for actives. We kind of have a little bit of a color coding system. So provisionals will be this kind of light gold color. Black is GMM, so they're blackout dates. Purple are typically committee meetings. The volunteer shifts are these kind of lighter pinky colors. Board of Directors has red. I have the other pages in here. Fund development shifts are either lips or rummage, and they'll be in a brown color. Oh, and then orange, the kind of orange are trainings. You can also, if you click on calendar, you can, just like the filters, you can choose which type of category you want to look at. So So when you click on the event, it will look similar to this, and you can click register. You will get this little notification. It will also send you an email confirmation. And then your name will be on the attendee list. So like the next time you go in there, it should show your name on the list. And it will say you're registered for this event. This little like register thing will change. It'll look different. And it'll show up on the home page in your My Events. It'll show that you're registered. Okay, Forms and Docs. So Forms and Docs has a lot of information in it. You can find bylaws, our universal policies, obviously the org chart, the Rummage Handbook is the big one in Forms and Docs. And then form-wise, member status change, meeting and event submissions, or communication request forms are all in that category. So you go to My League and then select Forms and Docs. Then you will click on Phoenix AZ. If this shows up blank, either click on name or just refresh the page. Sometimes, again, it's a little bit of a glitch that sometimes it will show up as blank. So if you do one of those things, the Phoenix AZ folder should pop up. I will show you this specific link in a little bit. But to find the Rummage Handbook, the worksheet, the quota form, all of the things that you'll need for Rummage, it is in Documents, Development, Rummage, and then they're listed out there. So like I said, I'll show you how to do that. And that's after you've gotten through the Phoenix AZ. So Documents, Forms, and then Organizational Documents. We've talked about the directory a little bit already, but the search function, it acts exactly the same as the app. So your filters are on the side. You can search by name. You can also look at just by letter of last name. So okay, AJLI. So to access AJLI, it's right next to calendar. There's a link. And my understanding is that it looks like it's kind of it gets changed out every so often. So these links might change throughout the year, but right now they're focusing on ODI. So it's the Organizational Development Institute training. There is the member central page and then the AJLI public page. And then 1901 is their like their magazine, their online magazine, sort of with really interesting articles and things like that. So, okay, I just blew through that. I know I threw a lot of information at you guys very, very quickly. What questions do you have before I kind of show you the website? We good? Does that make sense? It's pretty simple. I think for the most part, it's pretty intuitive. There isn't too many weird oddities.
I think my question would be, is there a spot on the website that specifically calls out like all the different committees and what their like purpose is?
Yes and no. So it won't specifically call out. Let me show you a couple things. So there are a couple of resources that you can use. So it might not necessarily show all of the details, but if you go to the org chart, you can at least see, and this isn't by any means, this is not all of the committees, but kind of shows you like what's under which VP. So that if you're interested in a specific category, so say you're really interested in community, under community, so our VP community is Kelly Larson. She has Rockets, Girl Scouts, Live and Learn, and then volunteer action. So if you want to learn more about the committees that are under Kelly Larson, so that are in the community program, I would recommend sitting in on the community VP series, because she's working through with her team to make sure that her chairs are going to be there to present to you guys and ask any questions and things like that. The other place, I have to do a little digging, so it's not because I haven't looked it up yet, but we do have a placement handbook. And if I can't find it for you, I will get you a copy of it. But the placement handbook is basically every committee. There it is. Okay, the placement catalog is not what it's called, but it's every position in the league. So you can filter it by general placement or leadership. So first year actives are allowed there are certain leadership requirements that, or there are certain leadership positions that require more than 1 year in the league, but as a first year active, you can definitely join leadership if you choose to. Or you can do general placement. You can say, okay, I am, I'm free on evenings and weekends, and, I'm really busy, or so I just want to kind of spend a little bit of time. You can also search by, hey, are you available year round, or is there a certain time of year that works better for you? Maybe you're an accountant, so spring doesn't work great. So let's do something in the fall. And then there's a list of skills. You don't have to check any of that, but if you click apply filters, nothing comes up for that, but I get rid of fall. So Live and Learn committee is 30 to 39 hours. They go year round, most of it on the weekends, and then you can click on it and get a little bit more information on what they do, who to contact, things like that. So this is a great resource for learning about placements, but I would say the biggest benefit for you would be the VP series, because you'll hear from each of our VPs, and committee meetings. So, and also interacting with other league members, talking with active members and seeing what their placement is and do they like it, what does it entail, things like that. So let me show and go back to the file manager just so I can show you all how to get to the Rummage stuff, because that will be very beneficial come, a little bit later this year into early next year. So you're in your Phoenix AZ file share, click on documents and then development. And they have this folder here. It's Rummage. And everything you could possibly need Rummage wise is in here. So the Rummage handbook has how to prepare items, what you can mark them on your quota sheet as, costs, things like that. The actual quota sheet that you need to fill out, some tips. This is a quota worksheet. Honestly, it is what I use every year. It's an Excel file, and you can type in, like, I have 4 framed pictures, and it will automatically total it up for you based on the Rummage Handbook. I highly recommend downloading that. It's very useful. Oh, and then the page 2 on it is the quota worksheet. So you literally have to do, like, type in your numbers and that's it. This LIPS 101, if you're interested in a LIPS shift, has a lot of really great information. And then this is the Rummage Handbook. Let me actually download these for you guys so you can kind of see what it looks like.
How did you get to those files?
Yes. Okay. So on the homepage, you go to My League,
My league.
Forms and Docs.
Okay.
You will probably only have Phoenix AZ. So go ahead and
Yep,
click
I can
on
see it.
Phoenix and then Documents. Development. And again, these are our different VPs. So admin, board of directors, communication development, finance, membership. We're missing it. Oh, no, we're missing a community one, but, and then Rummage.
When I clicked on it, it's all like on like 20 pages. It didn't look like, unless I clicked on the wrong one.
On the Rummage,
The quota sheet, like whether it's the PDF or the worksheet, it looked like it wasn't, unless I just went into a list with. It's pretty straight.
let me download it. Find out. I apologize. Okay, so the Rummage quota sheet will look like this. And you just put your name here and then your total of each item and then your total quota. So, and if you drop off at the fairgrounds, we'll sign and date it here. If you get a LIPS pickup, it'll get signed and dated here by the whoever's working the Rummage. And then you can also drop off at the storage unit. And that happens on LIPS pickup days.
And did you say that we have access to what our quota number is, or where do we find that?
So the required quota is $150 and the worth of quota, and how you'll find that info is in the Rummage Handbook. Now this document is large. Oh, it's only 13 pages, but it's a larger document. So it has a ton of information. Quota drop-off schedule, preparing your quota, quality control, all of that. Like any questions that you have, the Rummage deep dive will cover a lot of it as well, but a lot of it's in here. So if we go to a page, it's just lists of different, okay, let's go to women's clothing. So it's a blazer is $2, a nice blouse is $1, coats are $3, dresses. And so you'll go into that quota worksheet and or your actual quota sheet and say, okay, I have 3 blazers, that's gonna be $6 in women's quota.
Sarah, I have a quick question. Can you talk a little bit about furniture and bigger items? Just trying to wrap my head around how that goes.
Yeah, so furniture is, a lot of stuff is like listed out in here. You are more than welcome to bring it to the fairgrounds if you want to, if you have a truck, if you have, but most likely, unless you bring someone with you, you probably won't have a ton of help unloading. Furniture is a little different, like they do have, if somebody's there, they'll help you. There's not always somebody manning the station. For furniture, I would recommend doing a lips pickup. Honestly, I actually box all of my quota up and do a lips pickup even if I don't have furniture pieces. So like that's a possibility as well, because then it's out of my house. I don't have to worry about it. I have my little quota sheet filled out already and it's good to go. Lips pickup is large item pickup service. There's a pretty nominal fee. I want to say it's somewhere between like $10 and $25, somewhere in there. It's not much. And they'll come to your home and pick up whatever you have. So one of the first years that I did it, my husband had this awful bar, like multiple bookshelves, horrible. I hated it. It took up half of our garage. I called them and was like, signed up for lips pickup. They came in, took it away. I could like tuck my boxes with it and get it out before he even noticed that it was gone. So it was great. And then come sale day, he was like,
How do you
"Oh,
sign up
yeah."
for the lips pickups?
They will be in the calendar. They might not be up yet. I know that they were working on finalizing them, but okay. So you can sign up for lips pickup or lips as a driver, like to work a lips shift. And that's these kind of lighter brown ones. Those are for credit. So you will get credit for those. Or you can sign up as it says rummage lips donor, no credit. So you need items picked up. Okay, so it's a $45 fee this year, which honestly, I would still pay it. It's because really what it does is that covers the gas and the U-Haul, basically. So they're renting out U-Hauls to pick up stuff. But you just go here, you'll complete your item pickup form and just fill out a little bit of information, submit that, go back to this page, sign up for it, and then pay your $45 or whatever it is, and they'll come and pick things up for you. So, and you'll get a call or an email about the day.
If we don't need them to pick it,
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna ask, if we didn't need like them to pick it up, is there a place we can drop it off at?
Yes, so there is a storage facility that you can drop off at. And that one is here, rummage drop off donor registration. Oh, it's not open. That one doesn't open until the 1st, but there'll be information in there about it as well. But you can go to the storage unit and drop your stuff off. And that is what this drop off at storage unit sign in date is. If you don't have everything for your lips pickup, like you didn't hit that $150 quota, that is totally fine. Add it up here, put whatever total you have. They will sign in here and say like partial quota received or something along that lines. And then, you know, on actual rummage week, you can fill in the rest of it and just get signed off for the remaining balance.
And then one more question too, looking at the price sheet, like underneath women and accessories, purses are listed out as 1 credit. Is that like if you donated like a brand new Louis Vuitton purse, like is that 1 credit or is that like?
So something like a designer Louis Vuitton. So when they're saying like a woman's purse or whatnot, that's more like, you know, the average kind of not designer label. For the like designer items, reach out to, I think that there's a section in here too. There is like a specific designer shop. It's like a different part of the Rummage building. And they also take new items as well. So reach out for things like that, reach out to somebody on the Rummage team. So whether that is Celeste from Super Saturday is a great resource. Megan Ritter, or I can't remember the other co-chair. There's three of them. Wendy Brooks is a great resource as well. I think a lot of you will meet and get to know Wendy over the year. She is like and this is also the 2022-2023, so they haven't fully updated this yet, gotten the updated one. There'll be one that is 2023-2024, so it'll have a little bit more updated information, updated contact information. I was just looking to see if there is, but there is a designer section and it will have a little bit more information on those. Are definitely priced differently though.
Okay.
Yeah. And new items is, if it has a tag on it, it's like you divide the tag by 4 or something like that. I don't exactly remember what it is. It's been
Yeah, you
while
get a
since
quarter
I-
of the ticket price.
Mhm.
I just found the wording for designer, it just says negotiable and along with
Okay.
antique items.
So a lot of times what they'll do for negotiable items is if you look through sites like eBay or Poshmark or something like that, you can find something either the same piece or similar. It's a quarter of the price that those items sold for. So like if you find your exact bag on Poshmark and it's sold for $200, then $50 would go towards your quota because they will sell it for $100.
Right, okay. Yeah, and also good to note too, I just saw the wording that no more than $15 can be from clothing
Oh,
or women's clothing.
women's clothing, yes. That is a great point to bring out. And so that's specifically women's clothing. Men's clothing does not count towards that 15. So that's kind of its own category. I believe that new items and things that fall into the designer category, and Holly, correct me if I'm wrong, those don't count towards that 15 as well because they're in a different shop, correct?
I believe so.
Any questions that you have pertaining to Rummage in particular, we can reach out to one of the chairs for Rummage, but we'll also have a Rummage deep dive. They'll spend a whole hour just talking about Rummage stuff.
Sounds good.
Great. Any other questions or anything else? All right. I'm gonna let you guys have the rest of your evening back if there isn't anything else. Before you log off, if you'll just put your name in the chat so that we can make sure that we give you credit. And other than that, have a great evening. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye. Have a good night.
Me too.
Will you stop recording, please?